Albertson. Hey, Rosh. Good morning. Well, I'm just setting up. Hey, Headshot. How are you all doing? Okay, finally. Peachy Keen. I'm super stressed. Yeah, Streamlabs. Interesting. Don't worry. Just give me a sec. I have to. I have to figure everything out. Yeah, I'm stressed because I've figured out that there's a prize you can win for best business what's it called, business plan, and I figured out that the deadline is in a couple of days, and I've been writing my ass off. I've written 17 pages so far for a business proposal of mine. Yeah, and I have a couple of days left, and I was this short. How do you say it? I wanted to cancel the stream to have more time to write it, but I figured out that there isn't too much left that I have to write, so I decided to stream anyway. Yeah. Headshot, what do you mean with Streamlabs? Is this something like Restream.io? Okay. Ah. Oh, interesting. Ah, now I know what's called Streamlabs. Interesting. I didn't know how it was called, but I've seen it with other streamers that they have some GIFs dancing around, or some, some characters dancing around, or a donate button and stuff like this. So good to know. Oops. All right. Yeah, maybe I will set this up at some point as well, because I wanted to clean up my Twitch channel at some point, and I didn't have time to do this so far. I see. Okay. So this means you have to leave OBS. You have to stream it through something else, I assume. Clean interface? You mean in Photoshop? Yeah, Headshot. I will look it up definitely at some point in the near future. Okay, I see. Well, thanks for the information. Definitely know where to get started now, Headshot. Last time I had trouble with blue screens, as some of you remember, but I think I have fixed it. I have exchanged some of the I don't know how it's even called, RAM slots, and I haven't had any issues ever since, and I hope it stays that way. RAM chips. Ah, yeah. Interesting. Hide the PayPal account. Oh, this is cool for security reasons, I assume. Never thought about this problem that that the PayPal account should be hidden in some way. Ah, good point about the personal info. Okay, today I have a theme and I'm super underprepared, so I'm not sure if you will see me fail horribly or if this will be an interesting design. I can't tell yet. Yeah, you're pretty close with Sasquatch, but a hairless Sasquatch, rather. It will be a bridge troll. Yeah, I have to say monsters were never my strength, or I was never really interested in painting monsters. But someone requested this or made a suggestion, and I thought, this might be an interesting challenge. And I love challenges. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm thinking about the future of this streaming series, and I have a couple of ideas where to go from here. We might continue with some characters now and then, but I also want to paint some environments and use some color techniques and some photo bashing techniques. So basically approach the whole thing from a different point of view, but I think I'm going to stay in the realms of fantasy for now because it's a fun topic. I'm glad that you agree. I've been inspired by another streamer. He's called Robot Pencil, and he paints only black and white character stuff. And he's super popular, but he's also quite good, I have to say. But he never ventures out into color or environment, so I thought I might push the format into more varied themes. I think landscapes are partially easier. Well, they have the tricky parts as well. There was a time I was just painting landscapes. I wasn't really interested in character art at all. But I use also different techniques in landscape painting to accelerate the process. Ah. I don't think you suck at landscapes. You know, it's all a matter of practice. Like always. Or maybe it's just not part of your interest. I mean... Du bist wahrscheinlich übrigens auf der Kamera, ne? Also alles bis einschließlich des Dings ist sichtbar.
Ja, okay, ist nicht schlimm.
Gut.
Also für mich nicht.
Gut.
Alter, ich bin so voll, ich muss mich erstmal hinlegen.
Ja, mach das.
Ich habe jetzt Diabetes.
Yeah, start with something easy. At one school, they always start with a theme. It's called Tower in the Desert, because it's relatively easy to paint. You don't have a lot of perspective. You just have the depth. Yeah, maybe something like this, you know, step-by-step, methodical approach. Achso, was?
Soll ich dir aus dem Bild gehen oder
Das
kann ich hier rum?
Ich habe gar keine Ahnung, ob du überhaupt... Ja, pimmel doch rum, also mir ist egal. Ah, eine der Streamerinnen sagt dir gerade Hallo.
Hallo.
Okay. Yeah, my girlfriend says hello back.
Guck mal, wie es aussieht.
There's okay, a little anecdote. There is one guy, he's called Ivan Mel Amundsen, and he is a super, super good character fantasy painter. He's really good with perspective and poses, and he's also extremely popular. But I've met him once, and I'm not sure about his persona. Maybe I find him a little bit too cocky, difficult to say, but I've realized that he doesn't paint environments and he doesn't like science fiction topics. So I tried to provoke him a little bit and told him like, you're not really good at science fiction. And I could really see he was a little bit, yeah, I don't want to say insulted, but triggered, and he tried to defend himself. I was like, yeah, I haven't had time to, how was his phrasing? I haven't had time to work with science fiction stuff, but he wasn't really interested in doing it, so it was funny to provoke him a little bit. Miffed. Oh, that's an interesting word. Yeah, a little bit miffed. But I have to say, I usually don't provoke people like that, but in his case I just wanted to, because it was such I don't know, maybe it was how should I say, maybe it was some kind of jealousy from me, I assume. Interesting. It's definitely one approach, using lines. I'm not really good at line work, I have to say. I suck at it. I don't like the visual style of it, and I have to think in a different way about lines. I rather prefer painting with values, but it might be for beginners a little bit more difficult. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He looks a little bit dreamy. He thinks about the time when the stress has finally an end and his business plan and business proposal is finally finished. I figured out whenever you paint something, I think in the last stream we also talked about it, it's good to have the ability to think yourself inside of this scenery, or to design a story around the characters so it gets a purpose. And when I paint characters, I really love to break with cliches. I mean, fantasy is a very cliche heavy theme, right? In order to recognize a character, you have to overpaint it in some way. And I want to break with it as often as possible. Yeah, I like the description of the convicts. because that fits inside the theme I was thinking of when I wanted to paint this character. I was thinking about a former prince who got penalized by a witch by being turned into a bridge troll, and he was beautiful and popular, but now he has lost all his popularity, and he's getting how should I say, bullied by usual humans, and so he's a little bit dreamy of that time when he was good looking and popular. So basically a sad story, which makes him also an intelligent character, you know, contrary to the thought that bridge trolls are a little bit dumb. Yes, that's a good question. That's a really good question, because either he was a prince who was humble at the beginning and very reasonable and aware that, you know, beauty is, how should I say, chronically terminated. Is this the right phrase? Beauty has an end. Or he was an arrogant prince, and this would be a very, again, a rather cliche kind of story, you know, the monomyth, the hero's journey, so to speak. So, good question. I don't have an answer for it. Hey Greg, nice to see you. Yeah, this is he is very groomy about his beard. He grooms it with fish oil. I'm thinking about focusing more on his expression this time. Maybe paint a little bit of his upper armor or something, but go more into detail with his face, because this is something I wanted to emphasize last time when I painted the Dark Countess. Retrospectively, I thought, man, her face should have had more detail, but I focused too much on the armor, so I'm gonna revert this mistake by giving this guy a little bit more personality. Yeah, we were just debating about his history. Huh?
Lach nur.
Yeah, lach mal. About his history, and yeah, he is probably a former good-looking prince who ponders about his past time as a beautiful guy and now is an ugly bridge troll, and he's sad about this. Yeah. Sad characters with a traumatic past are the most interesting characters, I would say. But then again, who hasn't had a traumatic past, right? Good question. There are a lot of good questions today. I'm not sure if it is his own doing. Maybe he has speculated too much and lost a bet or something, or was too cocky at some point. Played it unsafe. Maybe he sacrificed his looks for someone else. That would be more interesting. Then it would have been a selfless act in the end. What about he has a wife and kids, but they have a disease or something, and in order to heal them, he asked a witch to trade his youth and his beauty for the health of his family. Or maybe that, yeah. So it was a worthless sacrifice, but you can't see into the future. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah. This makes it so melodramatic. I need to cry almost. Yeah, exactly. If you have a story, you have a emotional connection, and everything has a purpose. So you don't paint blindly into on the canvas. Oh, on one other channel, someone asked me if I paint a self-portrait, which I find super funny. Such a troll comment, very fitting to the theme.
Ein Arsch. Nein, ich blubber nur Quatsch, mach ruhig weiter.
Was wolltest du denn
Ich
sagen?
hab nur gesagt, so ein Arsch.
Ach so.
So der Penner.
Ja.
Bann den. Mach banne den.
Ach so, ja.
Ban.
Aber irgendwie wird's cool, muss ich sagen.
Ja, sieht nicht gerade aus wie ein Werwolf.
Deine Mutter sieht aus wie ein Werwolf.
Hörst du eigentlich Musik?
Ja.
Ach, deswegen hörst du mein Geblubber nicht?
Ja.
Hast du besser so, oder?
Ja.
Oh. Ich sterbe. An Verfettung.
Geh doch scheißen, Mann.
Nein. Ich bin noch nie aus dem Restaurant rausgegangen und habe nicht aufgegessen. Die haben mich in die Knie gezwungen.
Ich überlege, ob ich ihm noch Haare gebe.
Gib dem ein Werwolf-Gesicht.
Obwohl, so ein Mönchsschnitt wäre cool, weißt du? So ein
Ach du Scheiße.
Doch, das ist geil. I just decided I will give him hair, but the most ridiculous kind of haircut, like monk's head, you know? Like a very straight cut, so that he looks really derpy.
Aber bitte mit oben mit so einem Loch.
Ja, wird man bei dem Winkel nicht sehen. A bowl cut. I think so, yes. Yes, a bowl cut. They're getting, by the way, they're getting really popular here in Berlin, especially in the techno scene.
Oh Gott, schrecklich.
Yes. Yeah, my girlfriend said the same. They should be bald at the head, but from this angle you won't see it, unfortunately, and so
Der kann ja lange Koteletten haben, so zwei Blechzöpfe.
kein Backseat-Modeling hier bitte, ja.
Ich sterbe einfach.
Genau. Oh, this haircut was supposed to be a halo, a symbolic halo. Now I get it. Oh man. That's a clear example of symbolism and aesthetics not getting along, you know. A row? Oh, sorry, I don't understand. Can you give an example? Thanks, Rosh. It's getting more ridiculous as we speak. He's a little bit small head. He's supposed to have more brain. Ah, this one. I see. I have to think about it. I don't have an idea how to fit it in as of yet, but maybe in time I will integrate your Roman olive branch. Yeah, you're right. But I think this will be a symbolic overkill if we give him something that winning athletes had. Oh no. Screw Photoshop. How much time have you lost? When was the last state you saved? Was heißt ein Zopf auf Englisch?
I don't know.
Ponytail?
Ja, Pferdeschwanz, Ponytail,
Ja.
genau.
Ja, können wir machen zu Rossmann.
Ich habe mir jetzt keine Gedanken gemacht über Internet in Madrid.
Ja.
Kann ich das online irgendwie machen oder so? Weißt du das?
Was hast du denn für einen Anbieter?
Mobilcom, Debitel.
Keine Ahnung, ich kann mal O2 checken. Ich habe das in Italien gemacht, irgendwie 7 Euro für ein Gigabyte oder was.
Also muss man dafür nochmal vor Ort da zusammen oder?
Nee, ach, das ist. Ach, ich weiß es nicht mehr, wie das war. Du rufst da irgendwie an und lässt es dir da freischalten oder so. Die registrieren ja, dass du im Ausland bist oder die schicken dir eine SMS.
So. Ja, nicht, dass wir, also wäre schon cool, wenn er da irgendwie,
Ja.
oder du machst es und ich gebe dir das Geld zurück, oder?
Ja, können wir so machen.
Keine Ahnung. Also besser wäre es, wenn ich selber machen würde, weil wegen Instagram und so. Mal gucken.
Weil was?
Na, wegen Instagram und
Ach
so.
so. Ja.
Ja, ich gucke mal, ich google mal.
Ja.
Aber erstmal sterbe ich noch eine Weile und dann google ich.
Jo.
Achso, und Rossmann hast du, ja, gerade.
Ja, wie ist denn das hier mit Handgepäck?
Oh, habe ich auch noch nicht nachgefragt.
Sorry for me talking German. We're planning a trip to Madrid. So we have to sort out a couple of things. So multitasking. Painting a troll, talking to you guys, organizing a trip. Give me a second pair of hands, please.
Na, die Hände brauchst du ja nur zum Malen.
Ja, nee, gibt noch andere Tätigkeiten. Ich kann auch nebenbei Musik schreiben. Ultratasking, yes. After trying to churn out a business proposal in the last days, this feels like holidays already, like a vacation, so I'm not complaining. So, Rosh, you're busy painting landscapes in Photoshop as we speak? Oh. A gear entry. What exactly is a gear entry? Can you enlighten me, please? Oh, Final Fantasy. I see. Oh, I see. Cool. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Would be cool to be featured in Final Fantasy. What is this? 19?
Nee.
Huh?
19 gibt's noch nicht.
X1V.
15, glaube ich.
15. 14.
Oder 11?
14. 14.
1V?
X ist 10.
Ja, 15.
Nein, und dann 1V. 1 ist minus 5. Also
Ach so.
14. Yes. Thank you. We were debating. Roman illiterates here.
Kingdom Hearts ist besser. Ich bin so fett. F-E-T-T.
Ja, darfst dich nicht wundern, wenn ich weiter Schweinchenslieder singe.
Ich esse heute aber auch nichts weiter, ey. Dann geht das, glaube ich.
Wir müssen noch in ein Restaurant, vergiss das nicht.
Ich esse aber nichts. Ich habe auch kein Geld. Und nicht dafür. Ich trinke einen Tee.
Es werden aber einige Leute da sein, ne?
Wir sind einige.
5, 6.
Ich dachte jetzt an 10.
Ach so, ach ja, weiß nicht. Also ich werde da jetzt auch nicht lange bleiben.
Na, ich dann auch nicht, ne?
Doch, doch,
Wie?
du bleibst da schön.
Ja, genau.
Repräsentativ für uns beide.
Ganz vergessen. Ich mach dann einen auf Micha und red mit keinem.
Ja, netter Versuch.
Wieso? Was für ein Versuch?
Hä?
Was wie Versuch?
Ja, mich zu dissen.
Ja.
Alright. Man, his face is so rough. It needs to be a little bit softer. I mean, compared to the metal, it's still really rough, and skin doesn't work this way in light. I'll take care of the eyes at a later point. Right now I'm still determining his... There's too much else that is more important. And I want the light to hit him basically from this direction. So you have all the highlights at the most crucial points, like here, here, at his chin. Here's supposed to be a highlight on his nose. And the same goes with metal. It has this spot where everything reflects. For some reason, this is one of my personal lighting positions for characters, plus a rim light in the background, if you don't have white background as I do have right now. But a sharp light with sharp shadows from the top indicates so much of his features and of the geometry and helps a lot with the separation. For some reason, I really love this angle. But this way you can really see like how deep his eyes are in his, do you call it brain socket? I think so. Fidelio. I've heard of it. Fidelio. Sounds familiar. Yeah. So your brother is an opera singer, bass, soprano, tenor. Oh, thanks. I'll check it out. Super bass. So like basso profondo, really, really deep, I assume. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So super high range, many octaves. There was a time I was obsessed with whistle tone register. So the register where Mariah Carey sings in that sounds like a whistle, but it's not that easy to get. It's easy in the morning when you have, I don't know, slime, I guess, on your vocal cords, then you can hit it, but in the evening, forget it. And it's hard to control, so in a musical context, it's next to impossible for me to apply. I think it's slime. Maybe they're just loose enough. Hello, Caroline Hunt. Thanks for stopping by. So, for his armor, I'd like to have an asymmetrical armor. So on his, from our perspective, right shoulder, he has some metal stuff, and on the left he will have more leathery kind of things going on. So we can play a little bit with the surface, with the shiny surface, and with a more muted surface, or diffused, yes, diffused lighting. Oh, Brazilian, interesting. Are you also an artist or just interested in art streams? But oh, don't worry. I think we have people all over the world here, so and we managed to understand each other so far. Yeah, I think this is a lifetime struggle for artists to get better at their craft. So, no matter where you are, uh, learning is always a requirement to stay on top of the game. Oops. So I'm still trying to figure out how the plates of his metal armor are going. And on his right shoulder there are some shapes going on which provoke me to interpret it as some kind of cloth that has been torn apart a little bit. And it plays with this dynamic from his hair, for instance, that is a little bit, how should I say, that is hit by a wind or something like this. Well, it takes time. It takes time to get used to it. Wacom 2. Is this something where you paint on the screen, or you paint on a tablet and you see it separately on a screen? Tablet. Yeah, some people have a hard time getting used to it. I personally, for me, it took time to get used to the slippery surface, because when you paint on paper you have more of a resistance. But then again, I don't like painting on a screen, because I've tried it several times and it gets super warm, it has low resolution, it needs a lot of space, and your hand is in the way. Oh yeah, this is a good tip, Headshot. Lining up the proportions. Well, now is the time to learn digital art, digital painting. Stay calm, things will sort themselves out. Or is there any concrete questions you have? Because I think we have a couple of knowledgeable people here in the chat that might help out. Rush, I feel you. I do the same. I think mine is also about 10 years old. It's a Vacuum Intus 3. These things are so reliable. I think they can survive the Third World War. I've spilled so often coffee on top of it, but it still works. Maybe this could help. There is... Well, it's in German, but I have... With my Wacom, you usually get a software where you can adjust the sensitivity of your pen and the projection. And there should be a... how it's called? A column. I think it's called column. Where you can set up the projection to match your screen. And you can... Oh, I haven't even applied that. And there is a box where it says you can force proportions, and this is quite substantial because it makes the feeling way more natural, because the movement will be transported 1-to-1 on the screen. Okay, nice. One other thing I personally suggest is to set it up in a way that you don't have to press too hard on your Wacom, otherwise it will wear out quite quickly. I don't use a lot of the pressure sensitivity because I tend to cramp up and press through the Wacom, and this is bad. But it's a matter of personal preference, of course. Kommst du klar?
Ja. Alles gut.
Gut.
Ich gucke jetzt hier auch mal kurz. Zeig mal.
Oh, ja, so schaut's.
Schicker Frisur.
Ja, ne?
Super. Hat der die Augen zu oder kriegt der noch Augen?
Der kriegt noch Augen.
Dafür, dass du erst ein Tier malen wolltest. Das ist jetzt ein halbes.
Jetzt sieht's halt mehr aus wie ein Ork, ne?
Ja, aber das wird schon wieder so ein athletischer Ork, glaube ich.
Ja,
So ein hübscher.
ich mal mich ja halt selbst immer, ne?
Ach so. Passt die Frisur aber nicht so.
Naja, aber die langen Haare. Na, du möchtest unbedingt im Stream, ne?
Nein, ich möchte kurz nur kuscheln.
Achso. Hier, ne? Roche schreibt, she's helping.
Total.
Yeah, she's backseat modeling and criticizing my work.
Hat der einen Zopf?
Ja.
Sehr
Upsi.
lustig. Lustige Frisur.
Well, it's a way of showing emotional support, isn't it?
Den kenne ich irgendwoher hier.
Ja, das ist so meine Vorlage, damit ich nicht komplett
Ja.
im Leeren.
Das ist auch eher ein Troll, ne?
Ja.
Oh, ich bin so voll.
Jetzt leg dich hin.
Gleich. Ich belästige dich kurz noch.
Na, mach das.
Dann.
Du willst doch nur Fame.
Nein. Ich möchte Körperkontakt.
Ah,
Nur kurz.
ist gut. Freue mich auf morgen, ey.
Wieso?
Sport.
Gehst du aber alleine?
Nein.
Doch, ey, es wird zu stressig sonst.
Okay, wir müssen uns darüber unterhalten.
Ja, ja. Unterhalten wir uns nachher.
Ja. I don't like this. I'm really happy to see that you were able to help each other. At least my channel had this kind of purpose. No, a sword, I think. Some kind of weapon. Yes, a sword. Actually, trolls, they usually have, do you call them clubs? You know, baseball bats, sort of things. Thank you, Caroline, for staying. And hope to see you soon. Yeah, me too. I love the earrings as well. Yes, gross and intense. The angle is wrong. Crap. Yep, like this. I've realized I'm getting too caught up in the details. I need to get back to the mode of broader strokes. Yeah, we will see. I'm not sure if I will be able to finalize it today. Maybe I will split it into streams, but we'll see. Yes, I do have Facebook and Deviant. No, yeah, DeviantArt, I rarely use it, but Instagram and DeviantArt. Damn it, Instagram and Facebook, I can send it to you. 1 second. Hey, Alter. Warum kann ich nicht auf meinen Kanal?
Gesperrt.
Warum das denn?
Nein, keine Ahnung, weiß ich nicht.
Fuck.
Wie, warum? Es tut uns
Ich kann da
leid.
nicht drauf.
Wenn du eine Zeitmaschine? Ach so. Geh mal auf die Startseite.
Wie?
Na, hier auf Twitch einfach.
Hold on. Technical problems.
Das probieren wir nochmal.
Ah, okay. Okay, here's my link.
Du brauchst eine Facebook-Seite.
And here's my Facebook. Yeah, thanks for asking.
Was kriegt der für ein Schwert?
Ja.
Also was für eins?
Keine Ahnung, ist einfach nur erstmal ein Platzhalter.
So. Cool aus.
Ja, ich wollte mich eigentlich ein bisschen mehr aufs Gesicht konzentrieren und auf den Gesichtsausdruck.
Sieht nett aus.
Hä?
Sieht nett aus.
Ja, sieht aus wie Bombe.
Oh Mann.
Ups, das habe ich jetzt öffentlich gesagt, ne?
Ja, ich glaube nicht, dass einer Bombe kennt.
Was ist?
Ich glaube nicht, dass Bombe das irgendwie
Naja,
zu Gesicht kriegt oder so.
ich glaube auch. So.
Da könntest du dir als Vorlage vielleicht so ein Urukai-Schwert.
Ja, genau, dachte ich auch.
Du Süßi. Wenn du dem noch so eine Unterkiefer-Dingsszene machst, dann sieht er fast aus wie von Warcraft.
See you around, Caroline. Have a nice weekend. Naja, egal, der Unterkörper ist erstmal nicht so wichtig. Kriegt er noch einen Wanst?
Schön.
Ja.
Oh Gott. Dein Wanst?
I just made the outline for his belly.
Mach mal so, musst so einen Bauchnabel machen, so ein. Nee, warte, so ein X? Mach mal ein X. Und mach mal noch so einen Kreis drumherum, aber einen offenen.
Einen offenen?
Na, der unten offen ist, so. Oder so. Das geht auch.
Okay, enough. Enough of this horse crap.
Horse Crap?
Horse crap.
Pferdescheiß.
Ja.
Bullshit. Horse Crap.
So, ich muss mich mal konzentrieren, bitte.
Okay, ich gehe. Viel Spaß noch.
Danke.
steigen wieder elegant aufs Bett.
Oops, Edem. See you around, Caroline.
Die hauen schon alle ab, weil sie mich nie sehen wollen.
Yep. Yes, you're completely right. I had a similar thought. I think I will just do that. I might split again. I might split his thing into 2 streams. Because I won't stay around tonight for as long as I did last time. So, you're right. Your request has been noted, and I will focus on his face. No, I haven't. I never drawn tears. And I wanted to draw him a scar, or not a scar, how it's called? A wrinkle? I think tears would be flowing very differently, right? Based on the gravitation. Jaggedness, yeah. Me too. I want to leave it, or to leave as much of it inside the image. Maybe you know this. Whenever you start cleaning up your image, you sometimes paint over the most interesting parts in a sort of routine to clean everything up like a machine. And then all this roughness and spontaneousness gets lost sometimes. At least this is a mistake I have been doing quite often. So it's an ability on itself to recognize which parts of the image should be left untouched, or in which way to enhance them. Schnaufst du da oben schon wieder rum?
Lass mich doch schnaufen. Ich hab ich hab mal geguckt, ob die WhatsApp. Ich habe mal geguckt, ob die WhatsApp. Mann, ich kann nicht reden. WhatsApp hat.
Ja.
So, hab jetzt da geschrieben.
Ja.
Hab aber nur ein Häkchen.
Okay.
Also warte ich jetzt einfach, ob irgendwas kommt und sonst rufe ich morgen früh halt nochmal an.
Ja, meinst du, Sonntag ist da?
Ja, muss er ja.
Nee.
Muss ja einer da sein, der sich darum kümmert und keine Fragen sind und deswegen habe ich ja die Nummer. Also ich habe ja, das ist eine Handynummer.
Ach so, okay. Ja, genau, dann rufst du halt einfach
Die
durch.
hat bestimmt so Bereitschaft oder so ein Scheiß.
Ja.
Genau, rufe ich mal an.
Mhm.
Und wegen dem Internet im Ausland habe ich gerade mal geguckt, es kostet irgendwie 1,99 pro Tag, aber es sind nur 50 MB.
Ach so.
Und jetzt gucke ich gerade mal, ob es noch irgendwie anders geht.
Ja, okay.
Aber 50 MB, was kann man denn da machen? Gar nichts, oder?
Na
Wenn ich
ja.
eine Website auf, dann sind die schon weg.
Weiß es nicht, Mann.
Also ich brauche jetzt Internet eigentlich auch nur, denn da direkt bei der Premiere. Im Hotel gibt es ja bestimmt WLAN irgendwie umsonst oder so.
Ja, die Hotel-WLANs sind bekannt dafür, dass sie scheiße sind.
Ja, Hauptsache gibt überhaupt eins.
Hm.
Roaming ist nur auf Anrufe bezogen, oder?
Nee, es ist, glaube ich, auch oft Internet-Traffic.
Aber was ist denn Roaming?
Ja, das sind die Roaming-Gebühren halt.
Na, was bedeuten die denn?
Naja, du bist im Ausland und benutzt dein Handy und dann zahlst du.
Aber ich lese hier nur was von Telefonieren.
Ja, keine Ahnung. Dann sind die halt Das weiß ich auch nicht, Mann.
Im Ausland günstig und sorglos surfen. Na, das ist doch schon mal was. Ist ja du.
I'll definitely give him a chin beard that goes all the way to his ears, because this gives his chin a nice contour and separates it from the rest quite well. And aside from it, it kind of looks slick. But in order to maintain his dreamy look, I think he should look upwards. But this makes him kind of looks stupid by the more stupid by the minute. I don't know, not the wisest of facial expressions. Oh well, this could work. So since he spends most of his time outside, next to a bridge, I assume his skin is also very dry and thick and wrinkly.
Redest du von mir?
Me too, Roche. But I think his eye is too small. I really love this liquify tool, because especially when you paint portraits and you realize that you made a mistake in terms of proportion, you can easily fix it. And this is super useful. Of course, it's not the only way, but it's a very... Oops. Cool way. Just the positioning is still a little bit off. Let's give it a feather of, let's say, 4 pixels. Yes. Yes, better. Inside his eye sockets that are dark, we see his googly eyes. Extra jaggedness. Yeah. There's this funny struggle that every artist has this. Whenever you paint eyes, you manage to churn out one eye that looks halfway decent, and then you have the task to apply the same proportions and the same degree of detail to the second eye, which usually is bound to a fail. So the dreaded second eye. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I probably will leave it a little bit more in the shadows anyway. Oh, he looks so weird, like a frog. Maybe just indicate it slightly, I don't know. Yeah, the dreaded second eye. Oh, this is millimeter work. I think we're evolutionary designed to read eyes so well that every little wrong brush strokes is noticed instantly.
Da draußen einfach einer rumfährt und schreit.
Ja, vielleicht verstehst du, weshalb ich so behindert bin.
Oh, geil.
Das muss die Gegend hier sein.
Auf jeden Fall. Du bist ein süßi Behindi.
Rush, thank you very much for joining this stream. Good luck with your Final Fantasy Gear concept competition. Well, I hope you win. All the best to you. Thanks once again. So, du kommst morgen mit zum Sport, ne?
Mhm.
Doch, doch.
Das ist mir jetzt das ist mir zu stressig, wirklich.
Ja, wieso denn?
Na, weil um 14 Uhr denn da Kacksport ist und dann um 18 Uhr ist da Grillen und dann irgendwie noch zwischendurch irgendwas einpacken und.
Ja, dann sag doch Grillen ab. Ich muss noch einen
Ja.
Businessplan schreiben.
Kannst du doch. Ich fahr zum Grillen.
Dann beschwer dich nie wieder, dass du fett bist.
Ich esse einen Salat.
Was?
Ich esse Salat beim Grillen.
Mhm.
Boah, du Zicker. Du kannst auch zum Sport gehen.
Also,
Das dauert mir dann zu lange, wenn der uns denn da irgendwelche Sachen erklärt und dann noch selber noch da irgendwie Sport machen. Das dauert mir zu lange.
na, wie du meinst.
Bist du dann sauer auf mich, wenn ich nicht mitmache?
Ja.
Echt jetzt?
Ja.
Wieso?
Ja, weil es eine Unternehmung ist, auf die ich mich gefreut habe.
Oh. Was denn, wenn ich mich übelst aufs Grillen freue? Und du dann nicht mitkommst? Oh, was für ein egoistischer
Wir haben, so war das nicht vereinbart.
Spacko, Alter.
So war das nicht vereinbart.
Wir haben Reis vereinbart.
Wir haben den Sport vereinbart. Wir haben ihn zeitlich terminiert.
Ja, dann fahren wir halt mit 2 Autos hin und ich haue danach ab dann wieder. Du kannst ja noch weiter rumpampeln,
Hm,
wenn das ein Kompromiss ist.
weiß ich nicht. Nee, ist, glaube ich nicht.
Oh, Alter. Ja, mal gucken. Wollt ihr dann morgen noch irgendwie baden gehen? Und mir mal die fetten Schenkel rasieren und so? Oh, ich finde Rauchen so eklig. Bäh. Oha, 180 Likes.
Na gut, also wenn du morgen nicht zum Sport mitkommen möchtest, dann müssen wir es anders deichseln. Dann,
Wie, was?
wie was?
Ne, wie, was? Erzähl.
Ja, dann kannst du mir auch halt absagen. Dann würde ich in einer anderen Filiale Sport machen einfach.
In einer anderen Filiale.
Na, hier irgendwo in der Nähe halt.
Ach, kommst du doch nicht mit nachher, oder wie?
Naja, ich wäre ja wegen des Sportes halt mitgekommen.
Ach so, alles klar. Na denn. nicht mehr mit deinen...
Nee, ist auch kaum jemand da.
Ach so. Keiner will dich sehen. Oh. Das tiefe Einatmer.
Hm?
Hm? Naja, 6 Leute.
Naja, die 4, also 3 von YouTube kannst du vergessen.
Warum?
Weil es hier Watch Me Work ist. Das ist. Ja, gucken halt nicht wirklich zu, sagen wir so.
Oh. Ich jetzt belästigen.
Mhm.
Gut schaut der aus. Warum ist da ein Pfeil?
Das ist die Richtung, aus der das Licht kommt.
Ach so.
So, 6 Minuten mache ich noch. No, not really. Probably was my breathing into the microphone. I have really switched to line art, which I didn't expect from me to do ever in a stream. But I want to keep a couple of ideas for the next stream, and the best way to make quickly a visual note of it is to make a line art. But I haven't really figured out line art for some reason, because sometimes it's really efficient to make a couple of clean strokes, And sometimes it's better to be really dirty about your line work. I'm not sure when to apply which technique. Maybe it depends on how good you are with, how familiar you are with your subject matter, I could imagine. But line work is really helpful in a certain way that value strokes that I usually use don't work that well. It's giving your shapes dynamic and giving the pose a certain kind of dynamic. Keep to the streaming schedule. Hey Squishy. Sorry you just entered the last couple of minutes of the stream. Yeah. Well, this definition and separation of line art and sketchy style makes sense. But for instance, car designers, whenever they sketch, they never sketch with sketchy lines. They always sketch with, you know, bold strokes. But it's maybe their way. I mean, maybe they just they stroke several times and then erase all the bad lines and keep the good ones, maybe. Thank you, Squishy. Yeah, it's modeled after me, so it must be pretty.
Was denn?
War klar, dass du lachst, ey. All right. As always, we choose a name for this guy. Actually, we don't choose it because I already have a great name for him, and I call him Olaf.
Olaf.
Alright, so this concludes the stream. I probably will continue painting this guy next time. We will see. Well, anyway, thank you very much to everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed this, and I wish you all the best and a nice weekend. See you around. Peace.